to say. Employeronomics, of course, is who I work for. PEO Matchmaker is our partner that helps us do what our wonderful things we do. And we are advised by our favorite HR firm, Caraway HR, Jennifer Caraway, who was our guest 2 weeks ago. So anyway, our special guest today is Jeffrey Gallo, and I have a whole bunch of letters there, which I'm going to let you explain on your own, Geoff, but you're with Grennan Fender CPAs, and how I know you there, and I also know you as the founder and coordinator of the CEO Leadership Forum. And we got some topics we want to discuss you today, which I'm just going to leave up here for a second, let people kind of get the idea, then I'm going to let you jump into it. Does that sound good?
Perfect for me.
Okay, first of all, this first one intrigues me. How can you make me money as my CPA?
Everybody goes in with a common thought of, geez, they're going to save me taxes. I paid so much in taxes, and all I'm hearing about from Trump and from whoever's there is, we're going to drop your taxes, and gee whiz, but I'm not experiencing that. Well, I like to say, if you're going to a CPA just to deal with taxes, don't come to us, okay? Because a tax is a byproduct of successfully getting you to where you want to be. What is your hope and dream at the end of the rainbow if you're a business owner? If you're an individual and you're working, right? And you're working for many, many years, how can I keep more of what I get? Well, if I don't empathize with where you want to be, John, okay? If I can't put myself there, then I'm no good to you. All I am is a technician. All I am is somebody, you try to get me on a phone, 2 months before tax season starts, and I might be available, but during crunch time, which this year, crunch time was every single day of the year because of the COVID thing, right? You're never going to get to me. But if I'm thinking proactively, right, about you, I'm putting yourself where you want to be, I'm able to help you decipher what are the roadblocks that are going to impede me from getting to my goals that are personal financial goals. They might be, quality of life. It might be family, whatever it is. But if I'm able to now say, all right, where do you want to be and where are you today? I, as an individual, not just a tax person, but as an advisor, a true advisor that understands all facets. I mean, I come with 40 years of very broad entrepreneurial experience and played in a lot of different roles. So I, along with the folks that are around me, smart guys like you, John, okay, that have gray hair and have experience, there's a story behind every gray hair, and I say that.
It's platinum blonde.
Platinum blonde. But see, I believe that there's a story behind it.
A lot of money for this hair. Come on.
There you go. Every gray hair, there's a story behind it. And if people, amen. And if people are seeking sage advice, sage wisdom, unfortunately, it comes through struggle sometimes. It comes through learning experiences. And I say at our stage of the game, I have seen an awful lot along the way. And it's my life's mission, my why, is to help people navigate through the tough times and utilize the good times to plan to get through the tough times so I come back at the other end of the rainbow intact.
So you said something pretty interesting there. You said you're going to see where we want to be and then compare that to where we are. How does that process work?
Great question there. As you can imagine, in a CPA firm, people tend to be very granular. And each individual person has a certain skill set, all right? If I were to say in our firm of 45 people, you would be able to get the same quality intellect and expertise with every single one, I'd be lying to you.
Okay.
But if I can give you a process, then this firm, our firm has developed, and I was the co-author of this, has developed a process where the process will drive results. And we will bring in the best of the experts, whether it's inside the company or outside the company. They're going to be deployed just in time to deliver the necessary information that you need to make a strategic and a tactical decision that's going to allow you to navigate the issues that are in front of you. Okay, here we got COVID-19. Okay, did anybody anticipate this? Hell no. Okay. But the thing is, though, I will tell you, in our CEO Leadership Forums group, in 2019, the theme for the year, you know what it was? Preparing for the next recession. Okay. It was literally that. And things were hitting on all cylinders. But we as business owners have to always look at where do we need to go, no matter the situation, and prepare ourselves for that.
So, but okay, you're very good at really going everywhere, but I want to try to bring you in the narrow here, because you just said this one thing that really interests me, and it applies in my business and applies in the HR business. And really, you're in the HR business, aren't you?
Yes.
You are. So you
As much.
And one of the things we do, and I think you do too, is we go to the end first,
Right.
and then we work back. Is that what you're saying you do too?
Yes, exactly. So let's just take a COVID struck business. My business last year was worth $3 million. Now I just took a setback. I lost 50% of my revenue. I had to lay off half my staff. A year ago, I knew where I was going to go. I knew the delta between where I am now and what I needed to do to retire out of that business. Now the rules have changed. So I'm going to say, all right, what is my delta now given my current situation? I say, where am I today? Now I'm only worth $1.5 million, but I need $5 million to retire. So there's a gap there of $3.5 million of value. So what have I got to do to be able to get myself there in the time frame that I'm looking for? If it's 5 years from now, I got to grow a hell of a lot of business. So sales and marketing have to improve drastically. My operations have to improve drastically. The way I manage my finances, my HR, my people, right seats, making sure that they're aligned to all of that has to happen. And I'm now trying to, in the midst of all of this, just survive my business. If there's somebody like us who has got a process that'll take the fear out of dealing with the issues, and I think fear is a major impediment. If I know where I got to go and I know where I am, I can repair the issues that are in front of me. But I've got to define what those are, and that's what we're there to help do. Define the issues, to work on those particular things at the right time, at the right pace.
So that's intriguing, defining, finding the problem. And I'm looking at the next two questions, well, actually the next three questions probably apply to that. Let me just say them all. What services beyond the usual reporting and number crunching? What kind of creative business advice can you offer me? And this one I'm really interested in is about the technology. So I imagine that all three of those sort of apply to that scenario, don't they?
They certainly do, John. I mean, I look at the business as a living organism. Okay, and I'll just speak about a business. You're a business owner. Okay. And you are, and if you're a listener, you may be an employee of a business, but it's very important that you as an employee understand what's going through the business owner's mind, your employer's mind. They're human too, and they got the same things that they're dealing with as you are, all right? And so if we can understand, all right, where the business needs to go, and part of what we're doing is we utilize an assessment tool. Right, we actually have several assessments and it takes maybe 10 minutes to do each one.
Okay.
And
I want to know more about that. You have an assessment tool?
Yes, we have several of them. Okay, so
technology things, or is this just something like a question and answer? Get into that.
Okay, great stuff. We utilize a third-party resource, so it is technology, all right, and the applications, the questions were developed by a third-party group that I'm part of. And all of these things look at what are the primary concerns that you're facing as a business owner. Okay. And actually they have something that goes deeper into a department. What are the primary issues that are going on in your department, right, that need fixing? And we basically develop a priority list of those things at the business level and at the department and employee level that have to be handled. And guess what you're able to do? Take this big, massive problem that's sitting in front of you and break it down into a smaller bite.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. You're eating the elephant one bite at a time, basically.
And it's not driven by me. It's driven by you. You're answering the questions, and there's this logarithm that spits out this beautiful pie chart that's got, you know, red colors, orange colors, green colors, yellow colors, and that pretty much gives you the priority that you want to focus on first.
We both function as consultants, really. We're helping businesses. Actually, you know what we are? We're travel agents. We really are. We help businesses go from point A to point B.
Yes, sir.
But before we can get to point B, like that's always the easiest one for them to tell you, right? This is where I want to be. But now you got to go back and look at, well, let's see where they are.
Right.
And so that's that assessment tool you're talking about. That's very interesting to me because in my business in particular, the hardest thing to do is find out what's really going on, is getting to the truth. Because they're always willing to tell you the good things, you notice? But when you really want to dig and find out the things that aren't working so well, I mean, nobody wants to tell you their baby's ugly. And, you know, their business is their baby. So they only want to tell you about all the great things. So, yeah, that would be, I'm very interested in that assessment tool. So does it help you uncover, like, where, like, which process isn't working, which plan, you know, I mean, get into that.
Yes, it does. Oh, I can't tell you. And see, the best part about it is when they're answering those questions and they're seeing the output. And all I'm saying is in this case, John, we identified that paying your people the right way is very important to you because it's been on your list for ages, but you never got to it. But if we're going to align the organization, we got to pay them to exhibit the behaviors you need. That's against the metrics that you define, right?
I want to pay them the wrong way.
Exactly. You know, so
the IRS is the last organization you want to mess with. You really don't.
That's for darn sure. But I find that the applications that we have, these assessment tools that utilize technology, you can do them off your phone, your laptop, whatever, and you can interact with them. So when I'm with a business owner, for example, and I'm doing this assessment, I actually have the touch screen, and we're going through these questions, and we're getting the output.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So we're getting this in real time. I'll talk later about our CEO leadership forums. I mean, we utilize one of those assessment tools for every single person that comes to our educational workshops. Okay, and what that helps us do when we have 4.5-hour programs on Valencia College campus, we're able to tailor what we say during that boot camp or that workshop to what the audience tells us. So it's very, very helpful in that regard.
All right, you're getting ahead of me. I don't want to get into leadership forum yet. I want to go back to this tool because what I'm hearing about is you've got somebody sitting here with a, one of these things, a tablet,
yes,
and you're touching buttons, and you get through the whole thing, and then you push a button, and boom, up comes a score or
right.
a thing that says this is a hot area, this is a bad area. Okay, so you go right there. That's what we're looking at. We got to work on this, this, and this.
Correct, and that's exactly right. Exactly right. And see, part of one of those tools is an exit tool. So there's a value driver tool, there's an exit tool. The exit tool basically says, what is my readiness score to be able to exit in the next 12 months if I wanted to?
Did you create this? You said you did this yourself?
This particular one, no. But the elements that lead to it, yes, and the output, yes. All right. So when I'm saying here though, specifically with the readiness score, a lot of people's exit from their business has been delayed over the last 10 years for one reason or another. 2008, that crash that delayed at least 5 or 6 years those who were supposed to exit or transfer their businesses, and this whole thing with COVID has put a total crink in the in everybody's plans. So
it certainly has. It's kind of taken 6 months out of our life. However, I remain optimistic that I believe that this is going to go away November 4th.
I tend to believe that too.
So, and then hopefully we start going back to the booming economy we had for 3 years, because we certainly made huge gains for 3 years, and now certain sectors have had losses.
Yes.
Although I agree, you probably agree with me, there's some things that have definitely changed.
No doubt.
We know that any business that relied on foot traffic right now has to change gears.
Yes.
They have to, if they don't, they have to adapt or they're going to have real problems. We're just talking this morning, people aren't traveling as much as they used to.
Right.
You could probably do most of your work from where you're sitting right there, can't you?
Absolutely correct.
Doing this, we're talking on Zoom. You could even do that thing with me right here. You could just, and then, so, and I like the fact that you've got the technology and it can be done that way. So you've adapted.
4 to 8 meetings a day are virtual Zoom meetings. And I'm literally, it could be 10 to 12 hours, or, you know, and sometimes more. Where I am on.
Do that before with cars.
Right? Can you imagine? Yeah. But I mean, our business has totally changed where, you know, I mean, you look at accountants, you look at CPAs, they tend to be very introverted. So they're either behind their desk or they really like to be in front of a client. But if I'm not in front of a client, now what? You know, I'm stuck. So now we're stuck. Now we've got this technology that everybody has really had to adapt to. And it's been a ball for me because I've been a student as much as anybody, you know, but then trying to get the other ones going in this direction has been really fun to watch because it's been like watching your children go from crawling to walking. Okay. I mean, literally, you know, but here, John, is interesting because you talk about technology. Our business is based upon secure information. We have everybody's data, their social security numbers, you know, their kids, birth dates, you name it. Everything is there. Right. Well, we have spent in the past 2 years hundreds of thousands of dollars on building secure portals, building out a secure website, paperless working environment. Everybody, I mean, 95% of our 45 people are now working virtual, whereas we used to be in an office, and we're communicating and we're having better actual productivity in our workforce than we ever had before. Yet still having this too. And still having the same, well, they have bigger challenges too, because half of our parents out there, young parents who have kids who are school age, half of them are home. So they're having to deal with kids at home while also trying to do the work itself. All right. And we've had great success. And I think all those things that the guys in your world, in the HR capital management world, have been saying for eons, it's all coming to roost here because now employers like us are saying, yeah, all those things that John's been telling me for years are absolutely right.
We have learned you can be productive virtually. So we're getting off topic. The last question I have for you, well, I got two, but the last one's going to be where can I find out more? And I realized I should have put your website up here, but we'll do it. I'll put it in the comments afterwards.
Perfect.
And what I really want to talk about is how you and I have got connected is the Leadership Forum. And if you would just give me a couple of quick sound bites on what the CEO Leadership Forum is all about and why whoever's listening to this should consider becoming a member, or would they be eligible? Who's eligible to be a member? Yeah.
The eligible person is
What is it first? Yeah.
CEO Leadership Forums is the place of education for second stage businesses that are held before COVID on Valencia College campus. It's a boot camp, intensive knowledge seeking C-level executives, the business owner, the chief operating officer, chief financial officer, you know, some principal in the business. You come and you get to be surrounded by 3 groups of people. Okay, 1, your peers. The peers are second stage businesses, those that are between $1 million and $50 million in size, 5 to 250 employees. That we call the forgotten group, because you got the startups that might get a lot of press if they've got innovative things that might go IPO. And then you got those much bigger third stage businesses that are north of $50 million. They may have gone public. They've got a lot of attention because it's who's who in the Orlando area, whatever the case is. But that middle group, which really in the Central Florida area is the small and mid-sized business that generates over 67% of the new jobs created in this state.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't have the time, nor they just don't have the time to come to these things.
Okay, so that's one of the groups. Speaking of time, that's one of the groups. So
okay, the second one is a dream team of advisors. CEO Leadership Forums is made up of 22 companies that encompass just about every area of help that a business owner would need or want. Banks and financing, benefits groups like yours, a CPA firm like mine, CFO services, financial advisors, legal. I mean, you go across marketing, that group. The third group are, and this is probably one of the most important parts of it, because CEOs don't have the time to find them, is talent, access to talent at Valencia College, and the faculty who knows this talent.
So it's faculty and the students.
Correct. So we have, for the past 4 years, John, we have had a relationship with Valencia College that has been off the charts. Our mandate for ourselves was try to raise about $150,000 over the course of 3 years, which we have done. Okay, and because when people are invited to these events, they're not paying for it. We are the sponsors. And what are they getting? Just-in-time information that is catered to them. And the second thing is they're getting access to talent. There you go, access to talent at Valencia. We actually are supporting those who.
Has that worked? Has any of these Valencia grads, have any of them been hired by someone in Leadership Forum yet, or is it still too soon for that?
Several. When you think of the fact that so far of the $150,000 that we've raised, all right, about $120,000 has been delivered. And when you think about it, these are designated for students that are part of the baccalaureate program it's a BAS in business and organizational leadership. That is their 4-year business degree. That 4-year business degree at this college is only $12,000 for 4 years. That's it. Okay. Many of these students are already working part-time. Their average age is 29 years old. So they're going to school for 2 reasons. One, my employer is paying for it, right, to get more experience. The second one is I want to change my career, retool, and go somewhere else. Well, yeah. And the biggest risk is, how can I go into my new field without somebody giving me an internship and paying me to do so? And that's what we're trying to do, link up the students in their sophomore and junior years and go right into one company, not multiple, go into one, work part-time for 50 weeks a year for 2 years, and you're going to be an integral part of that particular company, and they'll hire you full-time. In many cases, we've had employers, John, step up and say, I want to sponsor my intern and pay for the rest of their college. Now that's part of their compensation program. What's the probability of that person leaving that company after that employer's done that?
You'd hope they wouldn't.
Probably not. Probably not. Okay, and that's, I think, the advantage here. We are all about education. Our dream team of advisors that makes up CEO Leadership Forums is committed to education, and the byproduct of that education for the CEO is getting access to talent that will, in many cases, help evolve their culture and improve their companies just in time.
So if I were to sum up, which is what I'm good at, is we've got a group of second stage CEOs and business owners, people with 5 to 250 employees or 1 to 50 million in annual gross income or sales, who are functioning in 3 capacities. 1, we're working together, networking, helping each other. 2, we're doing what we can to assist Valencia College, and we do the sponsorships. And 3, we're going to farm some of that talent, because that talent's going to be developed and then come to work for us. So far that has happened. You're saying there's people in the group who have hired. So that's a good success story. Now that we know that, we know the CEO Leadership Forum is out there. Who should be calling you and saying, Geoff, I want to get into this leadership forum? Give me is even if it's someone in particular you have in mind, but what kind of vertical, what kind of person should be calling up and saying, I want to get into this?
Well, actually, this is for an elite group. It's not going to go beyond perhaps another 4 or 5 different um, um, different advisory categories. We want this to be an elite group. We want it to be a place that people can call home. I mean, as much as it is an educational forum, it is, these people are my family, okay? And they're each other's family. They help grow each other's businesses, but they're a friend to each other. I can pick up the phone and call John Tenney literally at any time. Anytime.
There's no,
What's that?
there's no empty slots right now.
I'll say this, there are special spots, and I will say those evolve, all right? And I don't want to be specific because wouldn't want to discount somebody that would have an interest. But if you are a business owner, okay, and I'm going to say you're a service company in most respects, to be a resource to a second stage business owner, then come talk to us, because that's because in many cases what we're finding, hey, it's the same thing as technology.
That was key what you said there. A B2B company, basically a service company that services other business owners. Because you're like saying we don't need a McDonald's franchise. For
Correct.
Example, right.
Correct.
We don't need a Target or anything like that.
No.
Or we don't need an airline. But we do need somebody like maybe. I mean, I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but maybe an aircraft charter company.
It could be. I've got several clients that just bought airplanes.
Or even a radio station, because they certainly do B2B.
Absolutely correct.
So something like that. I'm just trying to put ideas out there for those that are listening that you may want to consider coming and becoming a part of this. Now, I can say that it's a rigorous process getting approved to be in here. And there's going to be money involved. It's not
Yes.
free.
Correct.
I think the money's well spent, and we know where it's going. It's going towards mostly Valencia, right? It's to students. So yeah.
Well, about 50% of it, and the other 50% is utilized for our own purposes.
Well, you just said 120 of the 150 went to Valencia, right? So that's more than 50%.
Oh no. I'm saying that money that I mentioned is that 50%. So we've raised much more than that.
Oh, okay. So good to know. All right, we don't need to tell everybody all our secrets.
There you go. No, that's good. No, but you know what, John? As big as anything, it's are you willing to give back? Are you willing to give of yourself
That's a good
for the betterment of others?
And that's true, Geoff. We're looking for people who are at that stage, right? Who are enjoying a reasonable amount of success where they can afford to say, hey, it's about time I gave back.
Yeah.
I mean, I started out that way. I've been giving back all along, and that does work too. It could be someone like that who's been giving back all along, but now they're just getting so much they just want to give back more. Yeah. And it's true that we are getting more by giving back more too. That's Emerson's law of compensation, right?
Absolutely right.
In order to give, you have to get.
Amen.
So we got about 45 seconds left. What would you give me a quick summary of what you want people to take away from this, about Grennan Fender or Leadership Forum, either one, or anything, or, any other topic you want to talk about? What do you want people to go away? Because the last thing they hear is what they're going to remember.
Grennan Fender, and the main reason why CEO Leadership Forums came to be and grew while I was at Grennan Fender is Grennan Fender is a give back company. We are a group of entrepreneurs that's passionate about giving back and educating. And by educating and giving back, that is our currency, if you will, that attracts others to us.
Well, you're certainly one of the more successful firms, one of the larger, not the largest, you're not like one of the big six, but you're one of the larger, you're a big small firm.
Well, true. I mean, we are probably one of the last original founder firms of our size that still exists in this town.
I know we share a lot of clients in common, and we've been working with them, and I certainly can't complain about anything that's going on. You've done a great job.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you for joining us today, and I'm going to get to I just need to put this up for our lawyers. We want to thank everybody for joining us. If you've tuned in, remember this is just for educational purposes. We're not attorneys. Are you an attorney, Geoff?
No,
No, me neither. We're
can
not
imagine.
providing legal advice. We're simply sharing some stories and our possible HR best practices. As always, we recommend you contact your attorney before making any changes to your HR policies. So that's pretty much it for the show. I want to just say one thing out there to those people who are considering leadership forum. I'm a pretty new guy. I haven't even been in a year yet, and you got to admit this was a heck of a year to join. But even that, with what's going on, I have enjoyed every webinar, every Zoom meeting, every huddle, every meeting with everyone, and I've really been pleased with, I'm going to say, the caliber of people I've met. You know, there are networking meetings where you can go and, you know, you're meeting, you know, Susie Cream Cheese in her Mary Kay business or something like that. This is not that, you know. I meet people that own real businesses who are real policy makers and decision makers in the community, and I'm proud to be a part of it. And I just wanted to say thank you for recruiting me and putting me through that rather rigorous admission process, but I did make it through, which I consider kind of a win.
Thank you, man. You know, and I'll say this, this is just a little PR. Our next webinar is next Thursday, September 24th at 11:45, and it is on culture, recruiting, and retention, surviving and thriving during COVID-19. And we're going to have literally 6 members on our group here, and it's going to be facilitated by the Valencia College Dean of Engineering and Construction and Computer Science, Paul Wilder. So it's going to be terrific. We're going to actually utilize the breakout rooms, so it'll be very interactive. You'll get to hear experts within each room and rotate. It's going to be really quite good.
It's going to be a Zoom meeting, not a webinar.
Correct.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. So we'll all be able to participate. We got to cut out here. So I'm going to just end it by saying we're going to put a link to your website and a link to that event in the comments, both on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook Live where we're broadcasting right now. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for joining. I'm Calling HR, and Geoff, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, John, for inviting me.